President Biden and former President Trump won their respective primaries in the battleground state of Pennsylvania on Tuesday. But could last night's vote be trouble for Trump? Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley won more than 16% of the vote in the Republican contest, even though she's, of course, no longer in the race. CBS News Executive Director of Elections and Surveys, Anthony Salvanto, joins us now from Studio 57. Anthony, good to see you. So Nikki Haley, long out of the race, got a sizable slice of the vote. Where did it come from, and what might it mean?
How you doing, Bob? Yeah, this is one of those, we all like to read the electoral tea leaves before an election. Well, we've got 157,000 of them here for Nikki Haley, and that just under 17% that you mentioned. But it's the where those votes came from that I think is particularly important. I'm going to zoom in here on the Philadelphia suburbs, Bob, and as you know as well as anybody, these are the places that we all watch to see which way Pennsylvania is going to go because they're going to be pivotal. Now, look at Haley's numbers in Bucks County outside Philadelphia, 19%, better than her statewide. Montgomery County, almost a quarter of the vote. And these are Republican voters who came out after they knew she was out of the race to cast these votes. Why are these areas important? Well, I'm going to take you back to 2020, Bob, and I'm going to show you this because these are places that Joe Biden won. These are places, in some of them, he had pretty tight margins, right? Here's Bucks County at almost 52%. But the thing about these places is they're also the kinds of voters where Donald Trump would hope to cut into some of those margins. They're more affluent. They have college degrees at higher rates. These are the kind of voters we're going to be watching throughout the year, and these are the places where Nikki Haley did relatively better. That doesn't mean, and I'm going to close with this, that doesn't mean they're all going to vote for Joe Biden. In fact, polls tell us most of them are going to come back to Donald Trump. But is this an opportunity for the Biden campaign in that region? Are there sort of votes being left on the table if they don't go out and get these voters? That's going to be a key question.
Anthony, you're speaking my language as someone who grew up in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. I have spent many years looking at Bucks County, thinking about Bucks County. And former President Trump, you're right. He's paying attention to Bucks County as well in those collar counties of Philadelphia. He was just in Newtown, Pennsylvania, having a fundraiser, of course, in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. And Brian Fitzpatrick, it's notable, the Republican from Bucks County, won his primary against a conservative challenger. And so those voters who have long supported more centrist Republicans in different respects, maybe a little bit wary of Trump, but do you believe they're going to stay home? And that area of the country is also very much supportive of abortion rights. How is that issue affecting things quickly?
Very quickly, Bob, I think you want to look at that the way voters have told us in recent polling that it's about abortion rights for them. But a lot of women have told us by this 3-to-1 margin, just about, that they feel in general after the Roe v. Wade overturn, access to women's reproductive health care more generally is getting harder. And that's how you frame it, Bob.
It's interesting. Bucks County was long represented by someone named Jim Greenwood, a Republican who was conservative on economic issues but supported abortion rights. Anthony Salvanto, thank you. Thanks. Let's dive into all of this, just how former Ambassador Nikki Haley's grip on a sizable share of Republicans in the battleground state of Pennsylvania, how that happened and could affect the race the rest of the year. Matt Gorman and Caitlin Huey-Burns are with us now here at the table in Washington. We appreciate you both being here. Thank you. Matt, you've worked for Senator Tim Scott and many other Republican candidates on a national level. When you see what happened in Pennsylvania, do you see a microcosm for something that could be playing out nationwide among some Republicans skittish about Trump? Or is it more just a protest and they'll come home in November?
I think the latter for a very specific reason. Last night, as you mentioned before, Brian Fitzpatrick had a very competitive primary against a challenger that was further to the right. So I think when you see those voters, that's more of a good sign for Brian Fitzpatrick's turnout operation than anything else. He was able to get his voters there who are more moderate in the party. And when they're there, they're going there primarily for Fitzpatrick, and they make a decision in the booth probably as a protest vote against Trump more than anything else.
It's interesting how in Bucks County, as I just mentioned to Anthony, a lot of people in Bucks County support abortion rights, even if they're Republican. Are you seeing across the country some of the Republicans who are supportive of abortion rights being a little bit wary of Trump, who nominated people to the Supreme Court who overturned Roe v. Wade?
Yeah, I think that's going to be a central question of this election, because we've seen across the country since the overturning of Roe, every time an abortion measure was on the ballot, it has passed. But we have not seen it in a presidential election year. And in places that it will be on the ballot, Arizona, Florida, these will be big test cases for whether, if you support the measure, do you also in turn vote for Biden, right? Is that a direct translation to a vote for Biden? That remains to be seen. We just haven't seen that yet. Certainly, that's what the Biden campaign hopes will do, or at least drive voters to do exactly what you just described. You're coming out for this ballot measure. Can you also pull the lever for us? We'll see if that's effective.
In 1980, when Reagan was running, he won the nomination, and then there was some concern in his campaign that he wasn't doing enough to win over more traditional Republicans, so-called moderate Republicans, and so he brings George H.W. Bush onto his ticket. When the Trump people and Trump allies look at these numbers in Pennsylvania, Matt, do you believe this could nudge them towards selecting someone as a running mate who appeals to a more traditional Republican, maybe not Liz Cheney per se, but someone a bit more in that realm of the GOP, or do they just go more in the Trump direction?
I think what we've seen from 2016 and his experience over the last 8 years as president and also as non-president now, I think the one thing they're looking for more than anything else is loyalty. I think that's why you see this audition, so to speak, of candidates, whether they're on Sunday shows or on television, talking about how they can defend the president. And you're seeing, whether it was Kristi Noem on Sunday, them slowly migrate their positions to fit in line with Donald Trump. I think the story, if Trump is also elected, as we saw in early 2017, folks from the RNC staffers come in and were that first wave of staffers. I think more than anything else, if he's elected this time, it's going to be staffed with loyalists from the start. I think that's the lesson they've learned.
Caitlin, I've been in New York all week covering this historic criminal trial, former President Trump. Do you believe some of the voters who went for Haley in Pennsylvania, might they have reservations about having a possible felon on the ticket as their nominee in November? Or do you believe, based on your reporting, do you conclude that these issues are already baked in, the legal challenges for Trump, as they look at the Trump campaign?
Well, it's interesting when you talk about Haley voters, because we're kind of all trying to figure out where they go. Obviously, they weren't sizable enough to overtake him in the primary, but are they sizable enough to make the difference in the margins in the general election? My own experience covering a lot of Haley events, a lot of those voters were already kind of aligned with Democrats. A lot of them said that they were kind of disaffected Democrats and were looking for kind of a new home. Do they turn out for Biden? Do they stay home? Do they convert to Trump? I don't anticipate that a lot of them do. But it also depends on, there are a lot of factors, obviously. You mentioned the Trump trials. Is it baked in, or the image of Trump every day repeating the kind of salacious details of the Stormy Daniels saga? Does that kind of remind those suburban voters reasons why they moved away from Trump in the past elections?
If that's true, maybe the gag order in the case will be helpful to Trump if he's not able to talk about those issues. What about for President Biden, Matt? Does he look at these numbers in Pennsylvania? Do Democrats look at these numbers and see an opportunity? And should Republicans be worried that Democrats could say to these traditional Republican voters or Brian Fitzpatrick voters in Bucks County, hey, we're here for you. We're offering you an alternative?
I think what's interesting is how Biden is going to message this, because we've all sat here for the better part of a decade now, and we've said, this could be the thing that finally turns suburban voters against Trump. And, it's a competitive race right now. The one X factor that has happened that we've seen a sizable electoral reverberance with is the Dobbs decision. How does that affect it? But I think what I keep hearing, from Democrats, the business record, the taxes, this, that. We've been talking about this for a decade, and it hasn't changed it. And there's no evidence that one attack or that one, even a conviction, is going to be the thing that breaks the camel's back. If I'm Democrats, the one thing they have an advantage on for issues, and the one new thing that's happened since Trump left office, abortion. You got to press that.
Caitlin's been covering it all. And Matt, we appreciate you being here. Matt Gorman, Caitlin Huey-Burns, thanks so much for stopping by.